The biggest domino of the MLB offseason is absolutely Juan Soto, and we finally have an update on why he may not be coming to the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to break down the latest report on what we know in the conversations between the prize free agent and how it relates to this Phillies team, as well as what the fallout might be and what Dave Dombrowski may be thinking for why he did not even get in the room to pitch himself to Juan Soto. So to dive right into things here, we do have the reports that the Phillies didn't even make an offer to Juan Soto. There's hopes of being this dark horse team proved not to be the case here. So, Luke, I can't lie to you. I'm disappointed. What's your vibe?
Yeah, me too. It makes two of us.
Yeah.
It stinks. It's very disappointing. I wouldn't even say the fact that like they didn't get him. Like, because I mean, I think we knew deep down a while it was kind of a long shot.
Yeah.
I thought there was a little bit of a better chance than you did, but it's just disappointing. Like that, it seems like they didn't even try.
Right.
Like they didn't even try to get in the room. They didn't even have a meeting. Like not even a single like room or nothing about any sort of meeting. I don't know. I mean, if their plan all along was that they didn't want to go after him, then I guess that's fine. But
Executed well.
they should have. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they should have at least tried. I
Exactly.
mean, have a meeting. Like, what's the worst that can happen? He says no, and then you don't talk to him again. Like, I don't know. It stinks. Now you just hope he's a Boston Red Sox because you don't want him to be a Yankee. You don't want him to be a Met, and you don't really want him to be a
Dodger.
Dodger. Yeah, at that point.
Yeah, maybe a little love to the Blue Jays,
Maybe
something
a
like
Blue
that.
Jay. Yeah,
Yeah.
he can go to Toronto. I mean, that's probably ideal. Him going up to Toronto at that
Yeah.
point.
I'm with you though. I don't see the harm in taking a meeting or at least trying to make attempt. I think probably the honest reaction here is the Phillies knew they didn't either have the funds or have the case to actually bring him to the organization, and they decided it was better equipped to kind of seek elsewhere. But Juan Soto, you're just not going to see this level of a caliber of talent step on the market that often. I mean, the numbers speak to themselves with the 41 home runs, 109 RBIs last season, a 419 on base percentage, had 166 hits, walked a ton of times. The dude like I don't understand the harm in just trying here. And this is kind of my own personal opinion is I just really feel strongly about it's a good thing to be mentioned among the top players. Even if you know Juan Soto's not coming here, I think it's a positive takeaway to make that pitch, to get in the room, to see those tweets go out of the Phillies meeting with Juan Soto, the Phillies making a competitive offer at Juan Soto. In the long run, I think that helps the franchise if you want to be this premier organization in the sport of baseball. So I don't truly get it here. To add a couple more details, we do have, of course, the report from Matt Gelb, who fully broke this, saying that the Phillies never met with Juan Soto and are not among the teams who have made an offer to the star outfielder. More on the Soto sweepstakes. And to kind of add to this kind of doubling down from Bob Nightingale here, but the article writes out the Philadelphia Phillies are not in on the Juan Soto sweepstakes. The Phillies, quote, never met with Juan Soto and are not among the teams who have made an offer. Gelb's comments follows a November 25th report from USA Today's Bob Nightingale that the Phillies, quote, haven't had a single conversation with agent Scott Boras to express the interest in Soto. The New York Mets, New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox, Toronto Blue Jays, and Los Angeles Dodgers are thought to be the strongest contenders to sign Soto, according to The Athletic. Multiple teams have offered Soto more than $600 million. So you're on the phone with Scott Boras. There are Scott Boras clients on this Phillies team right now. I still find it hard to believe that there wasn't at least a conversation here, but that may just be all it is. That he had no interest in Philadelphia, the money wasn't right, whatever the case may be. Do you think there's anything more to it than that?
I I don't think so. Because I think if he wanted to be here, I think they would have at least tried. I mean, I think they would have known that. I think Scott Boras would have made sure that they knew that. It's just unfortunate. Like like you think they'd once again, like you'd think they'd at least try.
Right.
Um, but at this point, it seems like once again, like they said, this is going to be a probably 600 million plus. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out and it was like 650. It's going to be hefty. It's going to be a lot of years. It's going to be hefty. There's going to be a pretty good chance that there's no opt outs. It's this whoever Juan Soto signs with, I think he's probably going to be with that team for the rest of his career,
Yep.
which is pretty crazy to think about because he's only like 26. But this contract seems to be in it for the long haul. And now it seems like I guess there's five teams left, really four. I saw more today, not really mentioning the Dodgers. I mean, I
Okay.
think they'll technically always be in there, but I don't think it's really their top priority right now. I think they know the team they have. I think they know that they need to really just sort of do some fine tuning this offseason. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's going to come down to the Yankees, the Mets, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. And I mean, once again, you just kind of have to hope he goes to the AL because
Yeah.
I really don't want him hitting for the Mets for the next 12 years. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that would absolutely hurt there. And I will say this did bring me back to this quote from Dave Dombrowski at the end of season pressers that he was kind of asked about the
Yeah.
mindset for the offseason. It says Phillies president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski, said in October that he didn't see a star player this offseason as a quote necessity. Quote, I don't think we need to have more star players, Dombrowski said. We have as many stars as about anybody in baseball, so I don't think it's necessarily that you need to add more. When announcing an ownership group expansion in November, managing partner John Middleton said that, quote, it's hard to go much crazier with the payroll than the Phillies already have. The Phillies will look to bolster their batting power elsewhere. A November poll of MLB insiders named the Phillies as the top destination for free agent outfielder Anthony Santander after he recorded a career-high 44 home runs with the Baltimore Orioles in 2024. So we dropped a video talking about Santander already, kind of speaking about that here. But where do the Phillies go from here? What is the approach? What do you think this means, them being out on Soto? Do they have other targets, or where do you take this?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get an outfielder of some sort. Whether it's Santander, whether it's Teoscar Hernandez, whether it's more of a low key guy that gets on base. But they're definitely going to get an outfielder at some point this offseason. I can't imagine they're going to roll out a Marsh Rojas Castellanos outfield again. I will say this. I think there's a good chance that they find a new outfielder, but all three of those guys are still here, like we already
Yeah.
talked about. I think it could be a you go find a left fielder, you roll with Marsh and Rojas in center, and you leave Castellanos in right. But no, they're definitely going to go make some moves. I don't want people to think that this is now like
Sitting on
the
their
end of the
hands.
offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, the offseason is hasn't really even started yet. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of good players out there. It seems like that they really want to upgrade the pitching.
Yeah.
They're going to continue to upgrade this team. It's unfortunate that it's not going to be Juan Soto, but there's a lot of guys out there that they're able to still go get.
Yeah, well, the dream is dead for now that Juan Soto will not be the most lucrative signing in Phillies history. I do think that there are obviously a lot to the payroll situation. I'm not going to be one of these guys that comes down on the Phillies for not spending money because it speaks for itself how much they've invested in this team. But I will say it is disappointing to me with the seemingly unlimited funds that every team is working with these days to not at least make your pitch there. So, any final thoughts to put a bow on the Soto conversation?
No, not really. Just once again, we got to hope he's not a Met because I don't really want to play that guy 20 times a year for the next 12 years
Yeah.
because he already freaking crushes us. I don't really need it in a Mets uniform anymore. I will say, if I had to guess, I think he's going to go back to the Yankees.
Yeah, that is how
I
I
think he's
felt.
think he's going to go back.
That's how I felt from the beginning with the Soto stuff, and I do think this, in kind of the wider view, may just be to drive up the price point to stay with the Yankees, which may have
Yeah.
been his initial goal all along. We'll see how things shake out from here. That is, again, Mets is by far worst case scenario
Yeah.
in my mind, so we do have a vested rooting interest in this, but the Phillies still got to get active. There's a lot still to go down this offseason, so appreciate each and one of you guys that are rocking with us throughout this duration of time. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button, dropping a like if you have not already. Drop your comments on the Juan Soto thoughts below. Oh, I understand it was a pipe dream, but I will say this one hit me a little bit more disappointed than I thought I would be, just seeing that they're not even in the mix there. But ultimately, we will see where the decisions are made from here. Once again, appreciate each and every one of you guys. And me and Luke will be back talking with you next time right here on Phillies Digest. Peace.